Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Red Path. Today, I'm going to talk to Jamie about his experience at the Gemhammer RTT and how he did with his LVO list. Okay, everyone. So, Jamie, you finally won some games at a big event.
Hey!
It's a big deal. Have the confetti come up at this point.
I'll try and do it. Yeah.
But yeah, this is all coming from the deep, bitter jealousy that I'm feeling towards you right now for being able to get it back out there in that tournament zone. But yeah, dude, I'm just gonna ask you some questions. We'll
Sure.
see how you got on and stuff. But how was it? Tell me about what you felt when you went back and you saw the tables, you saw the people, you saw the trays with the armies on them.
Yeah.
Just
It's
just
like
put it in words.
I don't know. Like I've never. I tell you what it's like. It's obviously I live here in the US. I've lived here for the best part of 15 years. But 5-6 years ago, I went back to the UK for my brother's wedding. Right. Great to see all my family. Loved it. I love them to death and everything. But what it was like was when I came home and landed at Columbus International Airport and my daughter ran towards me with her arms open. That's what it was like.
Hell
That
yeah,
feeling
dude.
of this.
Hell yeah.
This is it. This is why I exist, for her and for this game.
Just those two things, right?
Honestly, and I know that sounds weird or like, I think it's over exaggerated just because of COVID. Like because I've tried to be really good this year and self isolating, sheltering in place, and I've really treated it seriously. But now I'm vaccinated, and I still wear my mask where I need to at work and stuff like that, if I'm in public. And going out and playing a game with real people, everyone I've played on TTS, I absolutely appreciate you and love you. But playing with real people and walking into that room and, like you say, seeing these really beautiful armies on display. I should have some pictures over here for people watching. I'll zoom in and stuff after. But seeing these armies and just hearing the chatter and the sound of the dice on the neoprene.
Dude, tell me what it was like. What was it like when you picked up that first bunch of dice to roll it? Was it like a euphoric moment?
It's the first time I've taken my the Forge World released the World Eaters dice about a year ago, the blue and white ones.
I love those dice.
I bought 2 sets of them. $40 for the thing.
Totally worth it. I would spend it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah. And it's the first time I've used them in a real game. I've taken them to a couple of little practice games right at the start of COVID. No, I didn't, because I didn't have them then. So it's literally the first game I've used them in, or first games, and it was just a handful of dice.
It's like cradling a newborn child.
It is, yes. Berserker's charge activation 1. Here's the axes.
Oh, it's good, man.
Honestly. So, Gemhammer is the local competitive organization or whatever. There's a few little teams around here, but they actually submit to the ITC and stuff, right? Really great bunch of guys. Basically, they did start their circuit, I guess, basically a year ago. Or about 15 months ago, just before COVID. They had one RTT, which was my first RTT, my first tournament ever of any kind.
Oh, it was that one. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
The very first one I went to, where I went 2-1, but I absolutely annihilated by an AdMech player on a Planet Bowling Ball. But it was 8th edition, so so they had one tournament and then COVID hit. So that was it. They shut down. Well, then they reopened, I think in May. They did one RTT last month and then this June one. And really well organized for, I think it's just 2 guys basically who are running it.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And it's a small RTT. There was 12 at this one, I think 16 at the last. but like it was on an awkward day for a lot of people because of the stuff going on here and everything. Really well organized. All the terrain and mats are provided, for just a couple of working guys.
Nice.
Having that stuff, that's a big deal. Like, 'cause
Absolutely.
I know there's some like small tournaments say, hey, can you bring mats? Can you bring terrain? Which is reasonable and understandable.
I think the last 3 tournaments I've been to, I brought like our entire house's amount of terrain, which is like a lot. But I can totally attest that. Like having, TO'd an event myself, like that is a really big deal. Like you have to, all these things that people kind of take for granted will be there on the day. Getting that together is tough. So shout out to those guys. Fair play.
They do a really good job. And I think they actually sat in and played a ringer for a drop as well. So, they're just really good, and I really appreciate them. They do really good prize support for a 12-person RTT. Like, they did really good prize support. Unfortunately, I didn't make it. So, but
next time. Let's dive into the games, dude.
Okay, sure.
Like, this is what everyone's here for, like this is our journey towards our big events, both this year and next. And this is, I suppose, your first outing in the big real world at a tournament. Getting models on the board, which TTS is great and I love it, but there's no substitute for the real thing, right?
Exactly.
So this is I guess the first true installment of this series where we're going to talk about tournament reports and how you did. So tell me about game 1. How did it go? Who did you play? All those kind of things. Give me a quick rundown.
Yeah. So basically, my first game was against Tyranids, and I'm just pulling double duty here because I've got the list on the screen. And so the first mission was Surround and Destroy, which is a Dawn of War, 4 corner objectives, 2 in the middle, right?
Yep.
Tyranids. I played against Tyranids fairly recently. I'll just bring it was High Fleet Leviathan, so 6 up, feel no pain. There are other little shenanigans. Basically, the core of the list: Swarmlord, Dimicarian, the Forge World Hotness,
the big guy,
the big guy who's a fast attack, which I didn't realize.
He used to be a Lord of War, but
and Scythed Hyrule, which I was vaguely familiar with because I knew it had a monstrous flamer attack, which is utterly ridiculous.
Oh yes,
Trigon Prime, and then 2 blobs of 20 Gene Stealers. And then just like Rippers and Lictors and like the point scoring units as well, right?
So it's essentially a Nidzilla list, right?
Yes, yeah. And so we're playing on 24-inch No Man's Land. I'm like, I made a mistake. I started off by always putting my drills on the board, and that was often a mistake for me. I learned to deep strike, and here was an opportunity where I should have started the bloody things on the board, and I deep struck them. This was big, but in my head, it's like every time I've played Nids, they're very combined arms. Like, it's even though I know they're not super strong right now, but they're active in the very active psychic, can be very active in the shooting phase, very active in the combat phase, and mobile. And I was expecting that jack of all trades list. This wasn't that.
Oh, this seems like a very combat orientated.
Almost 100%. And I slipped because I was like, I thought I was ready, but I wasn't. So I now, to be fair, it didn't turn out as disastrous as it should have done. But my opponent outplayed me. I don't feel I played poorly. I did some decent screening moves with my Raptors. I lured him with my quad heavy bolter. I used terrain well to make sure he couldn't charge a lot of units by, placing 0.9 inches away from the wall.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
all those cool, like the little tricks that help, tactical tricks. But the Dimicarian, the Swarmlord, and the Trigon hit my lines. The Hyrule just took out a drill in one shooting phase. Just
naturally,
just
yeah.
Drill.
Yeah.
And I think I lost 3 berserkers to the explosion. Did do some work back, but his momentum was on the primaries, and I couldn't shift him. And my Dreadclaw couldn't come down because he had Rippers, and he strung out his Gene Stealers. I had nowhere to deep strike. he outplayed me. He beat me fair and square. I lost that one 74-21. I think I deserved the loss. He was a better player than me, but I think it should have been more like 74. If I'd played properly and not made critical mistakes, I should have been in the 50s.
I mean, I would say, dude, like, it's your first tournament back in over a year after COVID, with an entire new edition. Like,
second time using the army as well. Like that
there's
list.
way so many factors as to, like, you know, it's like, you know, the giddiness of being back, the excitement, the nervousness, the stress of it all.
I was swooning over his army.
I've seen the pictures. They do look.
His Tyrannid's
nice
beautiful.
scheme. Yeah, really nice scheme.
Nice. And
I'm
he
also
had a
just
display board and everything. So
nice. Yeah, one of the things about the Nids I always find, because I play them, my roommate has that army too, that the Swarmlord is like especially scary against us because he's got like that 3-up involved in combat.
Yes.
He's normally not very scary to any other army, but he's like particularly well focused at killing us.
Yep.
So yeah, he's a threat. And then like the Dimicarian is scary because it can essentially has like pseudo fly.
Basically flies for all intents and purposes. And then you throw in the mobility of everything with like the Swarmlord, you know, catapulting units in the shooting phase, Trigon deep striking up, and it was.
You would say like the biggest changes you would have made would have been starting the drills on the board.
Yeah, if I'd have started the drills on the board, that would have given me 10 melter shots and 16 Volkites.
Yeah,
one of those monsters would have gone down.
Absolutely,
guaranteed, because I took Bring It Down and Scram or Khorne servo skulls and engage on all fronts, because I didn't think I'd be able to get behind enemy lines because of the
amounts that's pushing up towards you. Yeah. I see that.
And he got first turn, so I knew if he got first turn, he would
so
be able
hard.
To, like the table half was his, and with the Nidzilla, the big boys coming forward. If I'd have had 10 melters on there, one would have gone down. Then they'd come again, taken another one down, and then charge a third one. Then my Contemptors and Berserkers would be free to mop up all the...
Take up all those Gene Stealers, all the chaff.
And
I can see how that...
it should have done. Because my list, as I've talked about in Discord and stuff, I figured out, because of this tournament, my list starts slow, but once it hits momentum in round 3, if you let me hit momentum, very little is going to withstand what comes. Once those drills, you know, once the Berserkers are out the drills, and if my Contemptors are still alive, just the damage output is just so consistent with the re-rolls and everything, like, which I'll touch on in a minute. But yeah, I lost that fair and square. Not bitter about it. I deserved to lose. Excellent opponent. Well played. Keith was his name. Happy to have lost to him. I just wish I hadn't lost quite so badly, because it stings to lose by 50, 60 points, you know.
It does, but it opens up the age-old tactic of the submarine.
Oh,
so take us into game 2 as you sunk to the depths, and then
it didn't quite pay off because my number 2 game was against a Necron player who was
that
really
didn't pay
good.
off at all in that case.
He was really good. I think I remember him saying it only had like maybe half a dozen to a dozen games in 9th, which is basically similar to me, except I've had like a half a dozen games in like the last month, and that's it.
Yeah.
Just because I've been slamming it on TTS.
Yeah.
But now his list, it didn't feel like what you would consider a competitive net list. There was no Nightbringer, no
big warrior
Silent
blobs.
King. But I mean, he had 2 big blobs of 20 warriors, so there were 40 warriors and 10 immortals, Scorpic destroyers, Doomsday Ark. There was plenty of tough stuff there.
Yeah.
He was running a custom dynasty, so everything was obsec. And the warriors were double obsec.
Yeah, they get the pre-game move as well.
Yes, he pre-game moved a lot.
That's such a powerful
board
dynasty.
Control was awful. Like, for him was amazing. For me, it was terrible.
Yeah.
However, I took Retrieve Scramblers, Khorne Skulls. I took Engage on all fronts because we played on. Let me swap this for everyone looking. Played priority targets. So of course I took priority target as well.
Yeah, naturally.
Because
that's such a good one. Yeah.
Now, to be fair, he also took priority targets, and he took behind enemy lines instead of engaging all fronts.
Interesting to take behind enemy lines against world eaters
on the diagonal map as well, and he recognized that. I think in about turn 2, he was like, "Crap, I'm just not going to score this."
Yeah,
and that was what cost him the game, I think, because he played very well. He had some bad luck. I had some good luck. I think the dice balanced out. I'm not saying I won because of luck. I did. I was.
I'll tell you right now, dude. You didn't win because of luck. Like, that's just not a thing,
well,
you know. So
I surprised the shit out of him. He didn't see. This was a game where this was one of those games. Although I won 82-80, I believe.
Oh, very close.
Yeah, it was either. Yeah, it was 82-80, right? And it was right on the wire. There was a couple of clutch moments. One was he shot his 10 immortals into 10. I dropped my 10 cultists out of the Dreadclaw, and for the 2 quarters on engaging all fronts, Dreadclaw in this quarter, cultists in that quarter. So I had all 4 in like round 3, I think it was, because I held my Dreadclaw for that game, waiting. And he shot his 10 immortals into my 10 cultists in rapid fire range. I think there was like 1 or 2 immortals not in rapid fire. Immortals,
good guns, yeah.
He killed 3 cultists who were not in cover.
I mean, that is unlucky.
Yeah, and I was basically at that point, I'm going to pick these up, but it was the other side of the table, so I didn't. I was like, just roll the dice. We were doing well for time, and he missed a horrendous amount. I don't think it might will be done them that turn because of just late game spread out. And then his wounding was just like, it felt like me rolling the dice for him. I felt bad for him because you never want to win because your opponent rolls badly, right?
Sure, yeah.
But there again, I don't want to detract from myself because I think I just deserved the win because I brought World Eaters against the Codex army, and like I surprised him. He had the big new model, like the tripod looking fella. The
Canoptic.
Canoptic something.
Is it the one with the gun or the one that fixes guys? There's 2.
It does Overwatch for anything it wants, basically. It's a Canoptic something.
I don't know the Necrons well enough to.
I know it's not great as far as from the little I understand about Necrons. It's not like a meta choice, but it was doing work for him because it had a nice shooty gun, and it was damaging my drills and stuff. But here was the play. Here's the play that I think won me the game. Made a 3-inch charge with Berserkers because they were in cover into his Royal Guard Necrons, Royal Wardens, I think they're called. I think they're basically Terminators because they have like a 2-up, 4-up or something.
The guys
like
with the shields, right?
Yes.
Lichguard, I think.
Is it Lichguard?
I think it's Lichguard, yeah.
Yeah, something. I've got his list.
They're so cool.
Yeah, they're really nice.
I love those models so much, and they're exactly as they should be in terms of
Hyperphase Swords and Dispersion Shield, and I'm pretty sure it was 2-up, 4-up. But whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
Berserkers ran in, annihilated them. Like they just cut me out. So
that's to be completely expected.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here was the thing. Obviously, I charged, annihilated the squad. I was like, okay, I'm spending 1 CP for 6-inch consolidate.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
Yep. Consolidate is like, okay. I said, well, I'm still the charging unit. Are you interrupting anywhere? No, because there was no point for him. I'm going to pile in 3 inches, blood for the blood god, and I charge this turn. Piled in 3 inches. I now get to consolidate 6 inches, tag his big thing, and wrap around it because I just had enough movement to like basically 5-point it.
Yep.
He's like, how did you do that? 1 CP on World Eaters, man. It's the one trick we got, but it's beautiful when it pays off.
Yeah, because it goes over each activation, so it's super good. Yep.
And so I wrapped it. That gave me a squad of Berserkers that couldn't be shot. That thing didn't touch him in combat because it's got like 2 attacks or something.
Yeah.
And I said they're going to kill you in your turn. Like, you can't escape that. You're going to have to charge them with something you don't have to charge with. They're scoring me the 4th quarter for my engage. I'll kill you in your turn. I can scramble with them if I need, or I just go and kill your overlord over there or whatever you've got. And it didn't really stop him killing me, but it put a unit where I needed it. And because I won by 2 points, it may have actually been the critical 2 points or one of the 2 points for the final engage, which pushed me over.
And he didn't did he consider using Desperate Breakout or?
No, I think you can only do that on infantry, can't you?
I have no idea.
He didn't.
I wouldn't be able to
and
tell
you know what? He was out of CP. He was blowing his CP on it, which, you know, because he has good stratagems and his CP, he wasn't wasting it. But this is round 5 or round 4 or round 5.
So he probably didn't have any.
So he was.
I'm gonna just double check to see if Desperate Breakout is. I think you're probably right.
It sounds like one of those ones, but yeah, basically that play, and he basically said, well, let's just talk out the final round. We had time, but and there was basically no way he could stop me from maxing out engage, maxing out scramblers, and maxing out priority targets, of course, because everyone maxes that. And my primary score, and this is why I was confident. I've got the paper copy here, this one here. So I scored 5 in battle primaries, 5 points battle round 2, 5 points battle round 3. Wasn't worried about it. He scored 15 and 10 in rounds 2 and 3. Round 4, 15, round 5, 15. And I knew it was going to happen because first game I stumbled, didn't think. Second game I looked at the board, looked at the opponent, and in my head it was Queen's Gambit.
Clicked,
everything was moving.
Yep.
I was like, okay. I didn't know he had the pre-game move until he did it, but I was not worried about it. Come at me.
Yeah, I mean, like
everything was gonna.
That's a really strong ability for every army that isn't us.
Yes.
You know, like
feed
them forward if you want to.
He realized he moved one of his warrior blobs forwards and gave me a line of sight with the 2 contemptors with Khorne.
Yeah.
I was like, and warriors have only got a 4-up save now, apparently.
Yeah, but they always did. No, they were always 4.
I had a buddy who played with a bloody 3-up save in 8th edition.
No, they were 4 in 8th. I played a lot of Necrons in 8th edition. Yeah, they're always like pretty flimsy.
Okay, well, I feel cheated now. I mean, no big deal. But because I shot him, I was like, well, no, you got a 3-up save, haven't you? Guys, no 4-up. I was like, okay, I'll take it, because that means my Volkite's killing 50% that it wounds before the mortal wounds. Rather than that 3-up makes it a bit sketchy sometimes, but I'll shoot 0 AP at a 4-up. But yeah,
nice, dude.
Yeah, that was. I was really happy with that game. It was a close run thing. It's just it's like Waterloo, but I was really happy with the win.
GG's,
yeah.
So game 1 loss, game 2 win.
Yeah.
Tell us game 3. Yeah, what happens? You know. So how are you feeling after like that win?
I was super happy. My first game, I wasn't tilted, I wasn't depressed. But you never enjoy losing a game, right?
No, and especially when it's your first one back after so long, and like, yeah.
But I wasn't. It was just like, okay, whatever. And I think I put it on Instagram. I was like, hey, maybe it'll pay off, and I'll torpedo. No, it didn't pay off, but I did get the win, and it was a hard win, and I love a close game. So
a well-deserved win.
After my break, after turn 2 or game 2, went outside, got some fresh air. I was like, I'm feeling good. You know what? The third game, win or loss, I've got my win. I'm happy. Come in, paired up against Eldari. I've never beaten Eldari before. Now I haven't played them in 9th, but all through 8th couldn't beat them. In fact, I did. Yep. In fact, I did play them at the very turn of 9th in the only other games I played and lost to them. And that's a guy I know from Facebook, and then we ended up meeting in the tournament. But so I haven't beat him, and I was like, okay. And I see, all right, he's got Shining Spears, he's got 3 Psychic HQs, he's got 2 Wraith Lords. Now he's playing Iandon, which
were they Wraith Lords or Wraith Seers? Do you know?
He had a Wraith Seer, 2 Wraith Lords, which were like the mini knights kind of thing.
So the Wraith Seer is like the same as the Wraith Lord, but it's a psychic version of it.
I think he had 1 of each.
Because that's a really scary unit, I think.
Oh, he had 2 Farseers, a Spirit Seer, Wraith Blades, Wraith Guard, Wraith Lord. Dark
Okay.
Reapers, Warp
Jeez,
Spiders.
that is a wraith heavy army.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he was leaning
Cool,
because
though.
I know Iandon in the lore is like.
They're the wraith dudes, yeah.
Yeah, they are the wraiths. You know, like the.
And they have stratagems for wraiths as well.
Okay,
so.
well, it makes sense. And we played Vital Intelligence, which is one of the few games, few map missions I've played a lot of on TTS. It's like I always seem to roll up 13. It's like figures, I guess. But so Eldari, psychic heavy, but I don't know if I'll be able to bring up pictures of this.
So, sorry now before
Yeah,
you go on.
go
Did
ahead.
he have? I'm just wondering, out of my own curiosity, were those wraiths starting on the board? Were they in transports or anything, or
The Wraith Guard, like the
Wraith
fighty
blades
ones,
and the Wraith guard?
they
yeah.
were on the board. He started.
Okay,
on the
cool.
board.
Did Deep Strike any of them?
No, he
Okay.
Maybe he did. The thing is, I never got to fight him.
Right.
So
Now I'm really intrigued.
So we had
Okay.
a super terrain heavy battlefield. Vital Intelligence, like beautiful, like for a World Eaters player, you're like, oh God. It's like you're dreaming. It's like no one can shoot.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. I mean,
Happy
it
days.
was erring on. It was maybe a bit much. Even as a
Okay.
combat player, I was like, I can hide anything anywhere, right?
Wow.
So it's one of those, because all through 8th I played on maps with no cover. Like
Mhm.
no one played cover in 8th round here. It's like everyone wants to shoot everyone. It's just let's throw dice at each other for 10 minutes and get a winner.
That's fun, right? Like
Apparently
okay.
for some people. This one, it was like everything had flipped around. So we roll up Vital Intelligence. I'm like, you know what? I've got cover. I'm just going for it. I'm going for his throat. I frontlined almost everything. I don't think I frenzied though, because I knew my Raptors would be able to move to get, because those 4 objectives down the middle, it's like it's easy mode. Like everything, it's like, yeah, you're making them no matter what. So I didn't realize I didn't have a redeploy. I have a stratagem or ability where they can basically redeploy their whole army. Okay. He saw me frontline. I won first turn. He redeployed. He pulled back, which I was like, I understand it. I don't know if it's the right play, but I understand it. He knew I was a combat army. He made a mistake though, and this is the feels bad for me, or it feels bad for him, and I felt bad, but it's a competition. You've got to do it. He left his Farseer. Wasn't his Warlord Farseer, but it was his critical Psyker Farseer, the one that had
Farseers
died.
are so important. I can see where this is going, but yeah, go
Left
on.
him on, like the multi-level MDF terrain. It's like almost like a Christmas tree. He was playing it obscuring and everything, but he left him basically on the top, and then his Dark Reapers behind him. And he wasn't on the top. He was hidden behind the top, but because he's in the terrain, he's opened the windows.
Yeah.
If he was behind, if he was off the footprint, yes, it's just an enormous cylinder of LOS. He was on not even marginally, literally on like the top or second level, Dark Reapers. I was like, okay.
You had to do it.
Yeah. So, you know what? Got strength 6 and does mortal wounds and contemptors. Contemptors just rinsed. And I think the quad heavy bolter had a little bit of a pot shot. His Farseer was gone immediately. And then
that's the army cripples.
Yeah.
Like they
and
rely
then
so heavily on them.
the Dark Reapers, not the Exarch, but the 4 squaddies, the ones that shoot out of line of sight, which they would have hurt me because of my cultist scoring points. That he had to pick them up as well. That was in my turn 1 shooting phase. I established presence on my own objective and the entire center line, and I hadn't even brought in any reserves. So he comes at me, and he did again. He rolled poorly. Like he got bad luck, but I think he was tilted. Like he had that. I could see it in his face because I know it because I felt it myself 100 times. Losing his Farseer and his Dark Reapers immediately. Yeah, it's like his whole plan for the army, stacking Guide and Doom and all the Eldar trickery. I've pulled it away from him. So he's still got tricks, but not the way he wanted them. And I've got cover. Like he can draw line of sight, but like if he moves his wave serpent, then his big shooty wraith god thing can't shoot because it's blocked because there's only like a tiny angle. So it was in my favor. The odds were in my favor. It was my map. It was my mission, and I got first turn, and he made a mistake. From that point on, he was clawing, and everything went my way. My round 2 comes, or I don't even think I brought my drills on to round 3 because I didn't need to.
I remember you telling me that. Yeah, you were saying
my
that
contempt has just marched forward. When one would shoot because Khorne was there, something died. The other one shot, something died. The Raptors engaged his wave serpent for like 3 turns whilst they were holding an objective, and I think he just kind of forgot about it because he didn't know what to do with it. He couldn't catch a break. Like he was failing psychic powers, and I was denying psychic powers. He got Doom off, and then he failed the re-rolls on the wounds. It's like I felt bad for him, but I've got to give my opponent my best game.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, don't pull your
because
punches.
I would expect nothing less of him. Like we're in it to win it. He played really well. Like he did everything he should have done, but like a combination of the dice and the odds being, and it was one of those rare games where my stars aligned. Good mission, good map, first turn, confidence. Everything went right for me. I think I would have won even if I hadn't gone first. I think had he have not lost his Farseer and Dark Reapers, would have been a much closer game. However, I think the terrain on that gave me a huge advantage. Like, 77-15 was the final score.
Oh wow!
And I think we talked out like the last 2 rounds because he didn't concede, but he was like, look, I can't win. I just taken so much of his army off the table, and yeah, like it was a good win for me, but
I get what you mean.
Sometimes
not all those victories don't always feel as nice as the close games, but look, they're still wins. I don't think you did anything wrong. I think sometimes you just have a game like that goes badly and it gets in your head, and that's it. I mean, all props to you, dude. I think you played well, and so finish up with 2 wins and a loss, right?
Yeah.
And you came 5th overall, I believe.
Yeah, 5th out of 12.
But yeah, I mean, look, I think that pretty much covers it, dude. It's been a good shot. It's your first tournament back, and you did well. You went positive, 2-1.
Yeah,
always good. Congrats to me, and I'm sure from everyone from the Red Path, is thrilled to see you doing well. Hopefully the start of a
start. It's a start.
It's a good start, dude. It's a good start.
Yeah.
Any closing statements?
No, I mean, again, thanks to not that they'll watch this, but the folks at Gemhammer, to all my opponents for giving me good games. Like every game was good, win or loss. Whether I got lucky or got unlucky or whatever, I had an absolute blast playing. It was great to get out and play some games against real people and just have a good old day. Your good old day of 40k. It's great.
Nice, dude. All right, everyone. I think that's going to be pretty much it for this one. So stay healthy, everyone. Stay safe, and kill member.